Hey, this is Robert here again at Goozy Fabrication, and I've got a great video lined up this week for my DIY guys and gals working at home on your own projects. What I never want to have happen to you is for you to damage your projects while you're working on them, get hurt on your projects, or even worse. Yeah, we don't want that to happen. Got some tips and tricks for you this week that are really going to help you out. And grab these and let's get into it. And what's on the schedule for today is a 1976 base Camaro. Now this thing's a really nice survivor. It came originally with a 352 barrel with an automatic 3-speed transmission. Now we had removed that and we've got a nice 3-stroker blueprint engine to go in. And we're also going to be backing this with a 5-speed. And in addition to the drivetrain upgrade, well, what's also scheduled for our little Camaro is a complete front suspension upgrade and rebuild. Now, I've already started on this side. You can see we've got some really nice tubular A-arms, upper and lower, really nice pieces. Now, that's what this video is going to be about today. So from the 50s to the 80s, most cars and trucks had coil springs. Today, most vehicles have struts, completely different in the way you handle those, the way you rebuild those. Older vehicles, a lot more dangerous. It's very easy to damage your projects or damage yourself, or even worse, and we don't want that to happen. So I'm going to give you a few tips and tricks to keep everything where it should be and keep you on the road to a successful restoration or repair. And the number one thing I never like to deal with on any project at any time is this, the front coil spring. Now to get this spring installed in where it needs to be in the vehicle, well, we have to compress this. No way around that. And that's where the problem comes in. I've seen guys do two major mistakes dealing with that. The first one is the wrong tool for the job. Now, this first spring compressor is a McPherson strut spring compressor. This is the incorrect compressor for this type of coil spring. Now this is a coil spring compressor and it uses this little fork. And the way it works goes together like this. When you tighten it down, that compresses the spring. But what I don't like about this one, on the fork, those little nubs or whatever you want to call those, well, the width or the diameter of your coil may not fit in here very well. And these are very prone to slip when you're tightening them down. You don't want that. And this fork will hit the spindle a lot of times. Not very good. I don't care for this one. Now this is the correct spring compressor for coil springs. Now you can rent these from AutoZone or Riley's, other places, but let me tell you something that you need to look for. Now these are like 40 or 50 bucks. Personally, I'm just going to buy it even if I use it one time. And what you have to be aware of, if you rent it, check the threads, because these things have been used and abused by who knows how many people and incorrectly used. The first thing you want to check and make sure, are the threads good? Is the tool binding? Are there any issues with the threads? Because when this spring is under a lot of tension, well, the way this is going to work, slide this in, then this starts cranking down. And this is what's compressing your coil. Now, if these threads, if there's any issues, and God forbid this end blows off or this thing breaks while this is under full compression, bad time. And another tip, is you always want to use a little bit of lubricating oil. Now, this is the number one thing that I've seen people do that is extremely dangerous and you should never do. There's another way. Got this tool set up. The fingers are in place. We're good to go. They'll get to this point, then they'll start cranking this thing down. They'll crank it all the way down. This thing holds up your engine and your entire car. There is a lot of stored energy. If this tool, any part of it, the fingers, the joints, the threads, anything, if it fails, it's a bomb in your hand right in front of you. And what's even worse is once it's fully compressed, then they're going to carry it through the garage or the shop, and then we're going to try to install this thing, fish it up in here. Well, you can't see me, but I've got my face right down by it. If this thing were to fail at this point, yeah, I don't even want to think about that. So my approach to this dangerous situation, the arms have enough tension, or fingers have enough tension. They're not going to fall off or move around. And watch this thing as I apply pressure. Now, when I feel it start to really get a lot of tension on it, you can see the deformation there. It's starting to banana a little bit. That's letting me know, hey, yeah, this thing's starting to be under pressure. Now, to get this fully installed, we have to go about twice this amount. I mean, this spring has to be about this tall in order to get it installed. That is a ton of pressure on this tool. So I'm definitely not going to crank this thing all the way down. I think this is enough pressure and it's compressed enough to get it started. Don't rebuild the suspension unless the drivetrain is in. You need that added weight to help compress everything, or it's going to be very, very difficult if there's no motor and transmission in to get this assembled, the spindle to the upper control arm with the spring in. And now we're ready to install our spring. We want to go ahead and assemble our spindle to our lower control arm ball joint, torque the nut, and install the cotter pin. So you want to remove your grease fitting. And now you position a jack under the lower control arm. I can fish this thing in here under half of the pressure. Make sure it's in the pocket. Get everything lined up. Now I can get it started. I've got the weight of the car. It's in the pocket, plus I'm supporting it from the bottom with half the pressure on the tool. So instead of using the tool to compress the spring, which is very dangerous, now we're using the weight of the car and the jack to compress the spring force, which is a much safer way to do this. Okay, so we're going to check to see if we can get our spindle and ball joint in. You see we still have a little ways to go. And that's where we need to be. That's all we need to get our nuts started. Now we can get that tightened down, torque to the proper spec, get our cotter pin in, and we didn't overstress the tool. And so now we've got our coil spring. It's in the correct position in the pocket. installed safely, correctly. And we did that by paying attention, not using the incorrect tool, choosing the correct tool for the job, checking the tool, paying attention to all the details, and not overstressing the tool. And that's how you stay safe. I hope this video helped somebody. Thank you to all my followers, subscribers. Till next week, have a great week and be safe. Now all that's left to do is to unscrew this.